So we introduced the Jajounet topic on the last episode, and we'll continue it in this one. And we'll also talk about the Koudme culture, which is similar to the Jajounet, but the Jajounet was more like on individual farms, more like private settings that get wider community support. And the Koudme is more like a community setting which gets the full community support. So not only would we focus on a particular holding or farm in terms of the Jajounet, but the Koudme brings the entire community out to do community events like cleaning of the streets, painting of the health center, wiring, electrical wiring of people's buildings, stuff like that. And Lindo for Kien was famous when it comes to electrical wiring. He was an expert in that. So I remember he used to do his little gig, but people like me, boys like me, would go around with him and would be taught how to run certain wires, which is the hot wire, which is the wire that's not hot, meaning which is the one that electricity runs through the ground and stuff like that. So all of that was part of the Koudme mentality, Koudme spirit, which extended from the Jajounet culture, which, as I would say sometime later on, we would have lost to an extent because of the mentality of our people at the present time. So the Jajounet was huge, and I remember too that it was not just a Calibishie thing, but Woodford Hill, Wesley, Marigot, these places were all famous for Jajounet. My father himself used Jajounet to fell the lumber, the trees on his land at Monramier. I was a boy going there with them and seeing the men using the axe. And sometime, I guess later towards the early to the 80s, there was chainsaws started coming in. But it was mainly axe before. Felling those big trees. And at that time also, the Northeastern Timbers. There was Superior Timbers Products, which was established in Portsmouth, harvesting lumber from the Northeast too. But the Northeastern Timbers cooperatives came to being by the sisters, the nuns, who put this idea together to use the lumber that was being harvested or fell in the forest for the development and expansion of farmland. So that is why Northeastern Timbers was established, to use the timber that was sourced from those lands, coming from my father's land in Monrami and so. So the Koudme, the Jajounet, the community sort of levity opened up our community to different things, and we, by those expansion, lost some essence of our community spirit, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Because development brings with it certain things and robs the people from certain things. We were once very intimate and very connected when we lived as community, but when you start to extend your community into the wider community, Dominican community, we start losing certain things. And that is what I think has affected us somewhat in terms of the structure of our society, our community. And that's why I think stories like these are important, to help us to recreate that thing, to hold strong to the roots that we had, even while we extend our branches into other areas. I'm not too sure that we have done that successfully to keep us grounded as a people. And as such, the essence of community life has withered away somewhat, has suffered. But stories like the Calibishie Chronicle and others can help us to rekindle that spark which kept the community going. So the Jajounet that we spoke about was that thing which grounded us. We have now moved on and out of the idea of the Jajounet into more commercial. And now, not just commercial, but dependency commercial, which is another deadly element that I'll speak about sometime later on. But let's end this episode here, and we'll continue speaking about Jajounet and Koudme, cooperativisms, expansion, on the following episodes.